RQ Sydney just ended and I was lucky enough to attend. This is the deck that I took. Let's take a look. First and foremost, the deck box, very important. Worlds. I don't have the rest of the bundle, just the deck box. One day, I hope to. But we're not here for that. We're actually here for Breakdown. And if you've seen the thumbnail, I'm sure you know, and you saw the reflection tokens at the start. We are playing LeBlanc. LeBlanc is a really fun legend to play. She has the ability, when you conquer and or hold, you essentially discard one card from your hand and you tap her to create a ready reflection token of a unit on the board. Now, it is important to note that with the current rule changes, this reflection no longer has the status of a token and is a real unit in every sense of the word once the reflection has taken place. I'll explain it a little later as well. I find this deck a lot of fun, especially coming off the bat of Volibear and Lee Sin. Those are the two other decks that I played, but I thought, why not play something competitive for the competitive regionals. So here we are. So my current Rune Split is 8 order and 4 mind because I find myself recycling more order runes than I am mind. I honestly could even go up to 9-3, but this was pretty good. It felt pretty good. I do want to mention that when I played with this deck over the weekend and currently and continuing on, I'll be using the Origin Kuru sleeves from MAMORU Gaming. They're Australian based. Look out for them at your local game store. I highly recommend them. They are the best sleeves I have ever used. I'm not saying that lightly. I am not the type of person who promotes things that I don't believe in. So yeah, definitely go check those out at the very least. All right, let's take a look at the champion unit that I have decided to go for. For those who are familiar with the game, most of you should be aware that yellow LeBlanc, which is fragmented LeBlanc, is the typical choice. Now, I do want to preface that I did try out blue LeBlanc for a while, and I still feel like it does have a place in this deck, and that's why it is in my sideboard. However, I felt as though fragmented just does way too much. The benefit of drawing through your deck really, really outweighs the benefit of keeping temporary units alive on board. In saying that, I'm a big advocate for build crafting. So please, if you feel like you want to, anything you've seen here today, my advice to you is take it, run with it yourself, edit it and try it out and see what works for you and cut and chop to your liking. So let's jump into it. She's a 3 energy, 1 recycle, 1 power cost that has to be yellow. Now, Assault, which is a +1, in this instance, she becomes a 3/4 when attacking. It's really important that units need to be at a battlefield and you need to be attacking. And then her death knell is draw 1. If it's your beginning phase, you draw 2 instead. Just to make it clear, when you are copying LeBlanc, when you're making a reflection token unit after you conquer, so we move in with yellow LeBlanc, we tap our legend, we discard a card from our hand, and then we create a ready reflection token unit. Now, this token unit has the exact same print as the real unit. The only thing that reflection units can't do is have on-play abilities, okay? Because you need to be playing them essentially, and a reflection token is not being played. The token's being played, but the card itself is not being played, if that makes sense. It converts into a reflection of the unit once the card is played. Therefore, that's why certain battlefields don't work. Speaking of battlefields that don't really work, we're gonna look at Starspring. Now, I know that's a funny segue, but Starspring was a battlefield that I was using because I thought that it worked as in you play the token, that counts as being played, and then when it converts, you play as the real card. And then that would trigger Starspring. Then Starspring goes, the first time a player plays a non-token unit here, each turn, they may move another unit they control here to its base. So essentially, it's just allowing you to bounce back exhausted units after playing it. So you go in, conquer a unit, and then you may want to play something. You may not want that unit to stay there for the reason you want to keep it alive. So you play something from your hand because you can do so, and then you get to move that unit back. It works really well with LeBlanc because you don't really want LeBlanc to die. So you can create that token unit and then move it back. With that being said, There's been a recent ruling and that's not the case. It does not work like that because, as I mentioned, unit tokens come down, and then after that, the unit itself is not technically played, it's just copied. So this does not proc, but you can I still find it useful in the deck, okay? So I still have chosen to keep this one. The second battlefield is Forgotten Mountain. This was actually a game changer. This came in quite handy in a lot of my matchups because most people expect that the current meta right now for LeBlanc is early game, somewhat aggro, and there's no mid-range, so your mid game is really weak, and then your late game is decent, like it's pretty strong. So this just helps you kind of fight for a single battlefield. No one can score here until their third turn. With that being said, you can still conquer, right? So you can still move in, conquer it, trigger your legend ability if you so choose for whatever reason. It's quite useful because people don't really want to contest that. They don't want to go and fight you if you choose to do that, because they're not going to score a point and they might just die. So most of the time they'll leave you alone. So I find this quite useful. It's a really good battlefield just to help you negate those really aggro decks. The last one is a staple. Now this is Dusk Rose Lab. This is at the start of your beginning phase. You get to kill a unit and draw one. So in this instance, you would kill your LeBlanc, which is your temporary unit, your temporary LeBlanc. And then this card actually has a death knell text that says, if this card dies at your beginning phase, you get to draw 2. So in tandem with this, you would be drawing 3. Now let's go into the reason why everybody's here, and that is the deck list. We're gonna start off with Sacrifice. This is a one of in the deck. It's reaction speed, okay? Spell, no 1 energy, no power cost. I find with LeBlanc's deck, you're not really always min-maxing your runes. So most of the time you always have 1 up. Which is really annoying for me because I like min-maxing. So this does come in handy, not all the time, it's just a one of, but because you're cycling through your deck so much with your legend ability and some other cards, you do tend to find it a lot. It's essentially, if you're gonna die, you can kill your unit, draw 2 and channel 1. Next, we've got our 2 cost, which is Watchful Sentry. He's from Origins, which is the first set. Should still be able to get your hands on him. He's simple, he's got Death Knell, draw 1. However, you'll notice a lot of cards in this deck have Death Knell. That's because we are running Karthus, spoilers, and he's a 3 cost. He essentially allows you to trigger your Death Knells twice. We'll get to it and I'll show you. I'm running 2 of these, I believe. Yes, 2 of these, just to help with my early game. This deck is not necessarily built for early game sustainability. It's mostly a late game version of LeBlanc, which you will see now. It doesn't mean that we can't do something early game. We still need to attempt to contest. We've got Color Week. So Color Week is a fantastic card. You get to essentially kill one of your characters. Because we're running all Death Knell cards, you most of the time you get a benefit from this, right? Because you're wanting to kill your cards most of the time and your opponent isn't, right? So you kill your card, you draw a card. You kill a bigger card, there are other Death Knells in the deck. Very rarely do I find that you're using this deck and this card when you don't want to. So the next one is Hidden Blade. This is a fantastic card. So this allows you to kill a unit at a battlefield. So the controller draws 2. You tend to want to use this on your units. So you will hide it at a battlefield for 1 power cost. You then go ahead and use it on one of your units that may be losing a trade, just to ensure that you get more draw power. Now, it is so important to note though, however, is that you can use this card aggressively. Your opponent drawing 2 cards against your LeBlanc deck isn't the worst thing in the world because you do have so many tricks up your sleeve, and most of the time you can, account for it. Especially if it is going to be a game changer, I would recommend using this on your opponent. However, that's for you to decide. Next 2 cost is Honest Broker. Now, Honest Broker is just a basic, another 2 cost with the Death Knell. You get to play a gear token, Exhausted. That's this guy right here. Gear tokens are essentially like seals. You get to react, they've got reaction speed, and then you can kill this and get a free power, so a free recycle for whatever action you need it for. Now, I find this comes in quite handy because we are a late game LeBlanc deck and we do not want to be stuck in that early game to mid-range tier with our runes. So this is really, really useful early on. Next, we're gonna look at Tactical Retreat. Now, this is my favorite. This was the MVP of the deck. A lot of people aren't running it, so be it. But for me, I find that it works really well because I'm still wrapping my head around the game. And because I'm wrapping my head around the game, sometimes I'll do moves where I realize retrospectively that that was pretty shitty. This essentially allows me to go back in time, okay? It's essentially Zhonya's, we'll go through it. It's a reaction speed, 2 cost, and no power recycle, which is very strong. Choose a friendly unit. Next time it would die, this turn, heal it, exhaust it, and then recall it, and which is sending it to your base. Essentially, if I move in with my LeBlanc, and then I screw something up, I can have 2 runes up, play this to bring her back. This can be used on any unit, by the way. So any of your units. So it can even save some of your big guys later on, which is quite nice because most of the time when your enemy contests your big guy, they normally need to expend quite a hefty amount of resources to do so. So if you're able to just nullify that by bringing him back to base, you've really, really dampened your opponent's flow. So we are running 3 of the tactical retreats. Again, MVP for my deck, my playstyle. You may find that you don't need them or you may only need 2. Please feel free, switch them up. This is just showcasing my deck, so hopefully it helps someone out there spin some ideas and get some cool concepts going. Now we've got our 2-cost Soaring Scout, which is the last of our 2-cost Death Mill, Channel 1 Rune, Exhausted. Again, we want to get late game, we don't want to fall behind. This just helps with that. I may even switch it out for another Honest Broker. I don't know, we'll see. We're running 2 of those. We've got Salvage in the main deck because I do not want to go up against an Aurora and have no way to contest it. I think that is ridiculous. I don't want to play my first round and go, oh, it's an Aurora. I'm basically going to lose. Even if I draw perfectly, if they see the Aurora, I'm going to have a really hard time. So I like putting it in my main deck, and that's why I am running 2 of these. Next is Chakram Dancer. Now, Chakram Dancer was on the chopping block. I was going to put Shen in the deck, however, it was a power cost, and this deck is power hungry, so I decided to go against it. However, Ambush is a great keyword. It's essentially the same as what Shen has. It's Ambush before it was, Shen had Ambush before it was called Ambush. So essentially, this allows you to play a unit to a battlefield that you currently have units at reaction speed. This is really nice because there's a lot of cards in the game that stop your units that stop your spells, right? But not a lot that stop you reacting with a unit. So I find that this comes in quite handy. It also gives your other units +1, so shield, so it just bolsters their defense. This card caught a few people off guard. It is quite common, but I highly, highly rate it. Next is Eclipse. This is not seen in most of the LeBlanc decks. However, this is similar to the Tactical Retreat. It's if I mess up, I don't calculate, I don't do something right, this is a bit of an out. So what it is, a reaction speed, 3 cost, no power. Once again, you see a theme here. It says give a unit -4 this turn. -4 is pretty hefty. Pretty much gets over all of the main units at the start of the game. It will force your opponent to either buff them or use some sort of other trick to essentially contest this card. Additionally, it gives you Predict, which allows you to look at the top card of your deck and either choose to keep it there or recycle it. Really beneficial in this game because you'll notice that my deck it's a bit of an all-round deck, but it also there are certain cards for certain matchups, and this will just help you kind of pick that out. So I highly, highly rate Eclipse. We're running 2 of those. Next is the Signature Spell. This is a busted card. I find it, I don't know, I love it. I love it, and it's part of the reason why I'm playing LeBlanc. She just has so many tricks up her sleeve. It's a 3 cost, 2 power recycle, which is really hefty, but valid, super, super valid, especially for the strength that it's got. So you get to choose a unit, and then, so choose the unit, that's key. So you can choose either yours or your opponent's. Then you play a ready reflection token of that unit at your base. So what it allows you to do is, let's say your opponent plays something large, like a Vile Maw, for instance. They ambush with a Vile Maw. You're like, shit, how do I contest with that? You don't have any Eclipses in hand. Comes back to your turn. You're like, all right, well, I'll play a Vile Maw. I'll play a Vile Maw ready, and then I'll send it straight in. And then maybe you've got some party tricks up your sleeve. But the point of the matter is that, or if you don't want to if you don't have stronger units than your opponent, you can leverage that against them by using their own units. I love this card. I think it's great. I might even up it to 3, but I currently am running 2. Next is Karthus. He's one of the main engines of this deck, so it is a death knell deck, first and foremost. Karthus, like I said, he allows you to trigger your death knells twice. He's a 3 cost, 1 power, pretty simple. We are running 3 because he is pretty crucial in this deck. Now next is Vi. I love my ambush units. I think they are phenomenal. Not only is Vi phenomenal, but she goes above and beyond because she has the when I attack, stun an enemy unit here. So essentially, you can ambush with your Vi and stun the enemy unit, really screwing up their tempo. Most do expect it because it is pretty common within the deck, but I love this card. I think it's phenomenal. It needs to see more play, in my personal opinion. It's a 5/5, so it's pretty like neutral in terms of stats, and it's not a one use. You can also then pull it back and then make sure that you've got it in your base for you to trigger that when I attack again. Love this card. We are running 2 of it. Next is Mixologist. Mixologist is a great card in this deck. I'll go through it. He's got Death Knell, so he's a 5/5 normal stat, exactly like the Vi, 1 power across. Recycle, again, I'm very selective about my power recycle, so we don't have many, but the ones we do, I think they're crucial to this deck. Most LeBlanc decks are running it. And if you're not aware, it allows you to pull a 3 cost with no more than 1 power recycle from your trash. So essentially, if your LeBlanc champion unit dies early, you can pull it back. You can pull back your Karthus, you can pull back a Chakram, we can pull back any of the 2 costs, which you don't really want to do. These are the main 3 that you do want to pull back, and it comes in quite handy. Now, most of the time, it's used for your champion unit or your Karthus. We are running 2 of the Mixologists. Next is a little bit of spice. We're only running 1. I actually quite like it. I like this card. It is remnants left over from when I tried to do blue LeBlanc. It's sick, it's cool, and I'll run you through it because it's not common at all. So it's a 5/1, 5/5 stat with 1 recycle. It's pretty common for all my 5s have that. Once each turn, if you would play a token unit while you're at a battlefield, you may play that token unit and an additional copy of it instead. Let me run you through it. I did this in one of my games. You essentially pull out Zealand, right? And then hopefully he survives. Next turn, he's ready. You move in to conquer a battlefield. When you conquer the battlefield, you trigger your LeBlanc legend, and then you trash a card off the legend, tapping her, and now we've got the ability to play a token unit, right? So we play a token ready reflection, but Zealand then triggers, allowing you to play another token for free. So now you've got 2 token reflection units at your base, right? And then with this, you're simply off of 1 move and 1 conquer, you've got 15 might. This is a really big game changer because it's quite difficult for people to get over 15 might. Not only that, but they're expending a lot of cards. Additionally, they're expending it on 2 temporary units. Even if they do kill the Zealand, it's not that big of a deal because it's just kind of a party trick. It's not main reason, it's not a main component of the deck. It's just an annoying piece that your opponents need to deal with. It's a bit of a game ender, I find. So because it catches people off guard, they're like, what does this card even do? And there you go. On top of that, most of the time, if it's a game ender, you've now got 15 might, and then probably like close to 12 runes up when you've got this, maybe 10, 12. So you can just stack on board as well to ensure that you get that hold. This is a great combination. I love this. Highly recommend it. Next is Rune Rex, another staple of the LeBlanc deck. He's a 6/1, he's 6/6 with 1 power cost. Essentially allows you to, on death knell, do 4 damage. Now you do that at a battlefield, you've already reflection token unit, so now you're doing potentially 8 damage. And then if you got Karthus on the board, you're doing 16 damage to 4 different units. It can be all the same unit, it can be all different units. This is really great card. It allows you just to control not only their board state more so, but also allows you to control the other battlefield, because let's say you're holding and just contesting 1, because what I like to do is just have Rune Rex there with the battlefield, hold it there, and then on conquer, duplicate, on hold, duplicate, and just keep reflecting and keeping that tempo going. And that essentially just helps me clear off my left battlefield while I'm building my base at that point, and then I can just kind of move in and take it. These are quite good. Probably should up them to 3 realistically. Now this is a little bit of spice. I will say that I did see Challenger TCG kind of top with this. He's got a baited hook version of LeBlanc, which I thought was really cool. I tried it. I honestly wasn't that comfortable with baited hook and timing and how it works. But this is something that I was running, you know, for a little while, and then I did see the baited hook video afterwards, so please don't come at me. Reft Herald, I just thought it was a really cool card. I thought, if everybody's doing Aurora, how can I do it? This is essentially Timu Aurora, and we'll go through it. So when you move, look at the top 3 cards, of your deck, but you have to be moving to a battlefield. And from there, you reveal a unit, and then you can draw it, right? And then recycle the rest. The death knell is essentially Aurora. Play a unit from your hand to your base, ignoring its energy cost. So you ignore the energy cost, but you still must pay the power cost, right? Which is this one here, so you're recycling runes. And as long as if you do that on the reflection, so you conquer with this, whatever, you make a reflection, and then you've got one, you've got Karthus on board, you're spitting out 2 units per, every turn. This essentially just allows you to play big bodied units for your power cost. Now you kind of understand why I need to be so pedantic about my power cost, is because you need it for the late game. This is where this deck just really out-tempos anything else and does such a good job. We're running 2 of these. I was running 3, but we did cut it down. Our big killer at the end here is Atakan. Atakan is, so you can play Atakan off of this Rift Herald, but essentially you may kill a friendly unit as an additional cost to play me. If you do, I cost 1 less for its energy cost and 1 less for its power cost. Now I'm running 3 of these because it is the kind of just the game ender as well as that is the Zealand. That was my version of the LeBlanc deck. It is a late game. However, we do have that death knell touch still there, still really prominent, and still really does help you carry yourself to the late game. I love this deck. It's so much fun. Please feel free to change anything and chop and cut and let me know if you do and you found any value out of it. That's the whole reason we're doing this video. Not because I think I'm a pro or anything like that, just because I like watching videos like this so I can get ideas. So here I am making one. So hopefully someone else out there can do the same thing. This video is going to come out before the RQ Regionals. RQ Regionals will be next week on the Tuesday, and we will essentially go through and do a vlog, and I'm going to showcase all the best moments from RQ. It was a fucking amazing time. So hopefully you subscribe and watch that video because it was a lot of fun, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys in the next one.